Good morning again. Surprise, surprise. Well, afternoon, evening, wherever it is that you're at. I have already come up with a few ideas of what I'm going to do today. So I'm going to take all of these and I'm going to make some of these right here. Make sure I got those in frame. So I'm going to make all of these nice little Russian leaves out of my Poco bead box. And I think it turned out really beautiful. Can't wait to make the next one. And yeah, it was a lot of fun putting this together. Now, you don't have to do all of these. I just decided to make a really long earring. Number one, I love long earrings. Not everybody does. And number two, I wanted to just use up all of the colors in my box. I actually used up a half of each one of the tubes for each one of the two sets of the leaves that I did. So the other thing is that this is future me, of course, because I filmed the video and built this sort of at the same time, and so this is me coming from the end of the video and putting this one in. Haven't finished the other earring yet, but I will. I'll be building that on camera soon. Okay, so this is what we're going to be making. I'm just in love with this, and just so you know, this is a super long video. It's going to be close to an hour long by the time I'm done. So I'm probably going to just split it in half. So this is part one, and then we'll send out part two when it's ready. So I have all of my colors here, and I'm going to make a leaf out of each one of these. So I'm going to, because I've got my black background here, I'm going to start with this color, and I'm only going to make one leaf on screen for you because you can do the exact same process with all of them. Now I'm going to grab a few other things out of my stash, and then we'll get a materials list, and then we'll get going on how to make the Russian leaves. All right, let's have a look at our materials here. So I've got some Thread Magic henna thread, which I found out very sadly they're not doing henna thread anymore, and so I ended up buying a whole whack of them, and it's too bad because this really is my absolute favorite thread to use. I'm super sad they're going out of business, because when it's gone, it's gone. All right, so Thread Magic, some henna thread, scissors. I've got my little scooper spoon. This is actually a size 10 needle. I've got some wire guards. I have no idea where my gold ones are, but I guess it doesn't matter. So I might use those, I might not. I might actually just use these size 8s. We'll see how I feel about it. And also for more options, I've got some jump rings, some earring, fish hooks, in case I need it and all. Don't know why I would, but I might. I've got, I already said my needle. I've got some pliers, just in case I work with those jump rings. And then of course I've got some metallic light bronze, and I've got one of my sets of Toho. And I decided I will probably work on my bead board. I think it's probably going to be a little bit better than the black, and we'll see how the color shows up against my hide board. And if it doesn't look all that great, or if it's hard to see, then I will I'll go to a different color. So let me just get this stuff out of the way, get myself set up, and I'll be right back. All right, so I decided that I would go with the darker color beads, because it's easier to see on this. And then I'm still trying to get used to working with a camera again. and where to place my hands and stuff. And so I've got this kind of nicely in frame, and as long as I can keep my hands within this area, I'll probably do pretty good. So let's start. So the way I like to start my leaves, I start with a good wingspan. So that's stretching the thread out and pull your arms out to the sides, and stretching the thread fingertip to fingertip. But what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to start by picking up one of my little 15s here, and I'm going to also pick up 2 of these beads. And this is kind of the, I guess, the fiddly part, really. This is where it can get a little bit, I might have to cut that because that's got a little thread on it, or a little fray, I should say. So I'm going to pick up one of these. Boy, that thread matches that color super nice. Whoops, just lost my bead. I am going to let you know that I am working just with natural light coming in from my window from both sides. So I'm just hoping that this is going to be enough light and I'm not going to be creating too many shadows. Okay, so I've got all of my beads on. So what I want to do, and you'll see the method to my madness here soon. So what I'm going to do is get my 2 ends of my string. I want them to be together, and then I'm going to just pull all of my beads right down to the end so I can find the middle. And what I've found is that this really is one of the best methods to use to make these Russian leaves. And although it's really fiddly to start it at the beginning, I do think it is one of the ways that can make it a lot easier, especially for beginners. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just start picking up beads. Now I've started with one of the small beads for the very bottom, and we're going to decorate sort of the tops and the bottoms of the leaves with these. So what I'm going to do is, now it's going to be a set of 3. So it will be one that goes through both strings and then one on each string. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of my little beads here on one string, and I'm going to just hold it, and I'm going to take my other string and I'm going to just run it through there. Okay. And then again, I'm going to pull that guy down to the middle. This first little part is sort of the fiddly, difficult part, but you'll get there. And that's kind of what whoops, I'm pulling it too tight. And that's what we're looking for. Let me just move that guy into the center. And we're kind of looking for that, because what we're doing is we're actually creating peyote. You've seen me do this before. And so I'm going to do that again. So now I've got my single one on. Now on each string, I'm going to put on a loose one onto each string. So that's my right side and my left side. Okay, and I've got 2 on there, which is fine, because now whoops, that came off too. I'm having a hard time with my fingers today. So what I want to do now is I want to put, so I've got 1 on each side. Now I want to put 1 on both. Oh, I really hope I'm in frame today. It's when you kind of look at the camera and go, ugh, I didn't do it. Okay, so I've got 2 on 1. Now I'm going to pull everything down to the center, and that's what we should have. So really all we're doing is just creating a peyote. So I'm going to do that a few more times. All right, so I am going to go off camera and I'm going to finish off, and then I'll show you how many I've added on, and next steps after that. Okay, so I'm going to put my last set on, and I'm going to use my needle to straighten that guy out because he's sitting a bit crooked. I mean, beading it will sort that out, but I have got here, so there's my initial bottom one, so we're not going to count that. So I've got my first set of 3, second, third, fourth, and now I'm going to do my 5th set. And I'm going to use this as my final set here. Put one on this string. Find my other one. One on this string. If I can get it to work. There we go. And then what I want to do is I want to actually thread my needle, because the next part can be a little bit fiddly for me. So I've got my needle threaded, so I've got one on the string that my needle's on and one on my other string. And so I'm going to use this string now to pick up a size 15, and this is why I want to thread my needle, because to try and get the other thread through the size 15 can be just really challenging. So I'm going to just do that with my needle to make it a bit easier for myself. So there we go. Now you don't have to have a 15 at the top, by the way, on this one. I just do because I like it. So there we are. This is what we want. We'll get those guys out of the way a little bit. So I decided, by the way, that I'm going to use my size 8s. Although they're not the exact same color as these, I think it'll work out just fine. So now what we want to do is we're going to work one side at a time in peyote. And quite often what you'll have when people show this on other YouTube videos is they'll have you just do sort of the traditional peyote start, where you pick up all the beads that you need for one side, and then they'll have a short string here, and then they will show you the one side of the peyote, and then you'll have to get new string on and get rid of that tail thread and get rid of the other tail thread and then do this side. I've found that this is a much easier one because I can still work on one side at a time, but I don't have any tails to get rid of or fiddle with trying to get more thread on, that sort of thing. So I just find it easier, and then plus you're not really fiddling around with all of the loose beads and then creating the peyote strip. You're just simply starting with peyote. So that's why I went through that fiddly process. Okay, so here's how this will work now. So I'm gonna hold on to this other thread. That's the other thing I like, is it gives me something to hold on to. So starting on this side, we're coming out of this little 15 here. So all I want to do is I just want to peyote down. Now I haven't done one of these Russian leaves in a really long time, so it may take me a minute or two to try and remember the process, especially at this bottom part here. And I'm just gonna, I think I'm gonna go and get my lamp, because I think that I'm creating way too many shadows. So I will be right back. All right, I'm hoping that's gonna be a little bit better. And I've come in a tiny little bit here too. So let me take these beads off. I'm not super confident that we got that right, because there was just so many shadows on my hand. So I picked up a bead. I'm coming out of this top little 15 here, and I've picked up a bead, and I'm just simply going to go into the next delica size 11 right beside that 15, and I'm going to pull. So essentially all I'm doing is I'm just going to put a few beads on all the way, well, part of the way down, And this is where I'm have to stop and try and think about what on earth am I doing. I'm pretty sure I've got this right, but so I'm going to go down. So that's 1, 2, 3. We'll be putting on 4 beads right here, and that's what it looks like. So I'm not going down to this bottom one. I'm going to just pick up one of these guys and go back up into this next one up here. Simply coming right back up there. Okay, now I need to go back up to the top. One, 2, and 3. And so I'm doing diagonal peyote here. So you notice that I went down 4 beads, I came up 3. So that means we've got to add some more beads at the top here. And the way we do that is we pick up 111, 115, and 111. And we're going to slide them all the way down to the leaf. And if you've seen this part already, if you already know how all this goes, then skip ahead. All right, so I've got my 11, 15, 11. So I'm coming out of this top 11 here. I'm going to go back into that very first 11 that I picked up. I'm going to pull that down. And now, really what I want is this 11 to sit on the outside, but if it doesn't do that, don't stress out, because when you come back up to the top, like if this spins around to the other side, don't stress about it. When you come back up, when you put your next bead on, it will sort it out. So let's keep going. And pick up another 11, go into the next one. And then we'll go into the next one. And I'm going to pick up a 15, and I'm going to go back up. There we go. And I'm going to just keep going all the way back up to the top. Oops, and catch on my mat. The thing I like about these is they're fairly easy to do, and they can work up really quite quickly as well. So once again, we're back at the top. We need to build more on this side. See, we're reducing on this side, so we got to build more up on this side. What I like about these leaves is you can do them in any way you want, in any color. You can mix colors. You can do patterns on these. All right, so there's my 11, 15, 11. I'm going to slide them all the way down. Hold them tight. I'm coming out of that top one. I'm going to go into the first one that I just added on, coming back down towards the bottom of my leaf pattern. And I'm going to pull tight. And I'll even do one where it just sits on the inside, and you can see how simple it is. If I can get it to sit properly, tilt it downwards. There we go. I'm going to just leave it on the inside like that, and you'll see it's really not a big deal. It might even just spin itself back around anyway. Sometimes they do that. So pull. And then one more. She says, looking up in the camera, hoping that it's in view. I'm really out of practice with this. Okay. Okay, and that's our last one. Now we're going to just simply come back up. Putting our little 15 on. These colors look really nice together. And although this is going to be sort of a plain leaf, it doesn't really matter because I'm going to make one leaf in each color, as you saw in the beginning. So you see, if this one was just kind of sitting around there, I can just pick up my next Delica and I can go into that and pull it around. I can just spin it around and it'll come back over. There's no need to stress over that. It's just simply going to sit naturally in that space. And that's because these Delicas are really kind of brick-like there. All right, so I'm going to show you the top one more time. Delica, 15, Delica. Slide those right down to my leaf. Again, coming out of the top, so I'm going to go into downwards towards the base of the leaf through that very first bead that I added on. I'm going to pull and not worry about what that Delica does. We'll add 3 more Delicas on. Oops. And 3. And then once again, we're going to go back up to the top, picking up a 15 to turn around. All right, so now we're back at the top and we have to do that turnaround. So on the bottom here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 15s, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 at the top here. So let's keep going until you've got 9 on the bottom and 8 on the top. Okay, I'm going to go off camera and I'm going to finish that off, and I will meet you back here when I'm done that, and we'll go on to the next step. Okay, so I am back, and I've got on the bottom 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. On the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so all we're going to do is just finish off this side. Now you can do this any way you want. If you wanted to use these 15s to do this, you can totally do that. I'm going to just finish it off with my Delicas. So I'm not going to add any more length on. I don't need to do that because I'm going to finish off the side. So I'm just picking up a Delica and I'm going down just as you would in any peyote. 1, 2, and 3. All right, so I guess what I'll do is I will I'll come down this next one here. And I'll go down one more. I feel like I haven't been beading for very long either, but I have, I certainly have. So I'll go back up this guy. I'm just going to follow my thread path back up. And, okay, I guess I can go through all 3 of those. Yay me. All right, so coming back up now, I'm going to just put on 1 and 2. Yeah, that's going to look a whole lot better. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to leave it like that for the time being because we'll connect these 2 sides later. But in the meantime, I'm going to take off my needle from this side. I'm going to flip my work over just because I enjoy working in one direction. And I'm going to do the exact same thing on this side as I did on the other side. And you see, it's basically really the exact same thing I did on that side. So I pick up my 11, 15, 11, slide it all down, pop in, not worrying about where that top bead's going, and just keep right on going. All right, so I'll leave you to finish that on your own. So we're going to do same thing, 9 on the bottom and then 8 on the top, which will count that middle one. All right, we will see you when we're done. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on both sides. So 9 on the bottom, of course counting this middle one twice for each of those, and same as this. So the next step now is to bring these leaves together, but I will just stop for a second and let you know that on the bottom here you could use any size bead. You could even use one of those if you wanted to. You can use a size 8, you can use pearls, you can use, I've got something here from another project, so you could use anything that you want in there. Get creative. There are a lot of different ways that we could that we could finish this out. Lots of different things that we could do, but I'm going to keep it really quite simple. So what I need to do is move over one bead here. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to come back down the bead I'm in right now. Sorry, that's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to go over to this bead here. And I'm going to come down that bead. I'm just going to turn my needle around. And then I'm going to go through that bead, just on the diagonal below it, and then I'm going to move over to this one right beside it. Hopefully this is easy for you to see. And then I'm going to go up that bead, and if I can, maybe up the other side. I guess I can't, so I have to do it in 2. So now my needle is going to be coming out of this bead here rather than on the outside. There we go. So now I'm going to pick up 2 of my delicas, my 8, and 2 more delicas. So that's what I have on my needle, right there. And now I'm going to come down this from here. I'm going to jump over to this side and I'll come down this delica here, just like that. Just like that. Now, you can do all kinds of really fancy little things to create little veins in the leaves. I think I'm going to just keep it super simple for now and not do the veining in the leaves, although it is really cool. Watch me change my mind though, because I do that. But I think for now I might just leave this one plain. I might vein one of the other ones. But so what I want to do now is, so that's all nice and loose, I need to just tighten that up. So the way that I do that with my peyote is, rather than tying knots, and I used to be such a knot tire even recently, I'm just not anymore. I used to think that it was going to come undone, and what I found is, so I went through from this bead here, this bead here to the one on the diagonal below it. I'm going to come across to the bead right beside it, and I'm going to come back up, and all I'm going to do is just do a series of loops through these beads. So I'm going to come back down that same bead again, and I think what I should do is I should move down, oh maybe no, I don't have to, because I'm not going to have that other thread in here. So there we go. Come down the one on the diagonal. I'm going to go up beside the one, or up the one beside it. And I'm just going to keep doing this well, not all the way down, but I want to do about at least 3 of them. I find is really the best way. That makes me feel that it's secured and fixed. And I've done this even on pieces where heavy pendants might have come off of it or are hanging off of it, and I've never had a problem as long as I do at least 3 of them. And these guys are pretty super lightweight, so I don't feel the need to do anything more than that. And then I'll just come down one more bead here, and then I'm going to just clip that off. And you know, there's plenty of thread left on here. If I did want to do the veinings, the veining in the leaf, I could do that. All right, so that's one. And now I'm gonna swap my thread over to the other one, because we're only attached just by one side here. And I want to take this thread and go through the other way, just so we're really secure. All right. So now I've got my needle on my other piece of thread. I have to do the same little turnaround. So I'm gonna go down in the bead right beside this guy, if I can do it. Sometimes you might get kind of bogged up by the thread a little bit, and if that's the case, then might have to just fiddle with your needle a little bit. There we go. Sometimes it's because you're just hitting the thread, which you don't want to be splitting. So again, I'll go down that guy. Well, maybe I'll go down this one because it might make it a bit easier for me. Back up that guy. It's kind of tight with the thread in there, which is unusual for delicas. They can usually take a lot of thread in them. And then up that bead right there. And then I'm going to go back through that little line of beads. There we go. And then I'm going to just turn this around so I'm working away from myself. And then I'm going to go back into this bead here. And then we'll just start that process all again with going down a bead. Hopefully you can see this fairly well. It's kind of hard for me to look into although my viewfinder is bigger and it's a bit easier to see, the position I'm sitting in just makes it look like it's all in shadow. And then when I stand up and look, it's actually fine. So I guess I'll see when I go to edit this video if I have to redo it or not. Hopefully not. I chose to do these leaves because my good friend Lori from Karamat Wilderness Ways said in the video comments that of my last video that she said she saw earrings in it, and I thought, oh, you're right. And I don't know if I've shown these. I don't remember if I've done a video on this or not, but I thought I'd do a simple one and then just make a little project out of it. There we go. I'll do one more. Yeah, so it's thanks for the idea, Lori. And she's got her own their own YouTube channel, which is really quite exceptional. And I'll do my best to remember to put a link to their YouTube channel. And I'd really love to see Lori do some of her incredible crafts. Hint, hint. She's a very busy lady as well. But she's, oh my goodness, so exceptional with the crafts that she does. They're really beautiful pieces. So, all right. So there's one leaf. I'm going to make another leaf that exact same color. And then I'll start bringing in all of the other colors that I have here in my kit, and I'll do 2 of each of those, and then I will I'll show you how we're going to put them all together. Kind of excited about that. It's going to be fun. All right, So if you want to do the same thing, go ahead, gather up whatever Delica colors you want, and then make 2 leaves of each color. I'm going to do 5 because that's what came in my kit. So there's 5 different colors. You can do as many as you want. The process that I show you is actually fairly simple, and you can do it in any way that you want as well. So, all right, I'll see you once I've got all of these done. Okay, I'm just popping in again for a quick second. I've got quite a few of my leaves, the bigger leaves done. I decided to go with different size leaves. So these 2 are the same, and then these ones I did as a smaller leaf. So all of these leaves here have the elongated tip. I made this one without the elongated tip. So that's kind of what that will look like. And then that's the one with the elongated tip there. Okay, that video is getting a little long. We're going to complete this in part 2. See you then.